welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to yet another Superhero Wednesday, and then yet another comic book review. It's bad, isn't it, when even you get annoyed of your own voice? Just get never, but you're thinking, oh my god, we're 10 seconds in the video already, shut the fuck up, we'll try again tomorrow. Yes, we are doing another comic book review because I think I may have read my favourite comic book in the definitely the last few months, potentially the last year or so. There was something about it that was just absolutely amazing. And of course, we'll do this in spoiler free because I don't know if it's best to do comic book reviews in spoiler free. I don't actually know how many of you are reading these comics or going to buy these comics off my reviews. But until somebody says otherwise, we'll keep it spoiler free just to play it safe. Because of what I got delivered today, I was this close to making this particular edition of Superhero Wednesday a Funko Pop flex, because we've got some amazing Funko Pops that got delivered today that are sat right next to us. They look absolutely magnificent, and I really want to flex them. But I want to say, because there's only 3, but they are beautiful. I wanted to do a bigger video. But today we're going to review some Ghost Rider. That's right, visuals, it's Ghost Rider. Issue 1, not obviously issue 1 of the first ever Ghost Rider, just of this this new story, this new take on Ghost Rider. 50 years as well, celebrating 50 years of the big flamed badass bastard himself. But how beautiful! There was quite a few nice variant covers in this particular book. And I opted to this is the main cover. Out of the variants, I think this is probably the best cover. So I went for this, and of course this come from the beautiful people at Get Ready Comics. So please, I highly recommend. I couldn't recommend them enough. Please check them out. My orders always come. I've only just started ordering them for the past couple of months. Well, comics always come in beautiful condition, boarded up. The bags. I've ordered a couple of Funkos I want with them. Everything's come amazing, quickly, swiftly. Even these comic books come in the envelopes where you get to the thing in, and it's so satisfying. Sometimes I just want them to send them so I can do the. Now let's take you out, Ghost Rider, and see what's been going down. See what's been happening with you. Let the visuals know what's been happening in issue 1. Well, not happening too much because it's a spoiler-free review of what's going down in your world. I don't know what this follows the aftermath of from. I didn't read anything that came before this. I don't know if there was a story or a side story we had to follow, but I don't think so. I think this is all absolutely fine. But we get a nice little start to this comic where we find ourselves, our friend, not ourselves, Johnny, talking to a shrink because he's had. I can show you a couple of little panels here. He's had an accident. And the shrink's sort of talking to him. He had a big bad bike accident, and he hasn't been on a bike since. And he's all damaged and battered and whatnot. And he's going to the shrink. And what's really cool about this particular bit of dialogue between the shrink, every time he leaves his sessions, she always says to me, like she says to me there, "Tell me more." And then when he leaves, she always asks him to say, where is it? There it is. This is kind of spoilers. I'm sorry, visuals. My name is Johnny Blaze, and there's no such thing as monsters. Can you see it? That's in that particular panel. She asks him to say that, which is just absolutely nuts. We can see the aftermath as well. We can see him all fucked up from the crash that he had. But yeah, it shows you like what surgery stuff he's had. He's always on about you know, hearing things in his head and having trouble at home because everything's going fine. He's got his family and his kids and whatnot, but he always needs to drink. It numbs everything, helps to forget, quietens down any voices. But there's a bit more at play going on because he goes back home. He's got the family life going on, but everything seems a little bit different. Things seem a little bit weird, and stuff starts to look a bit dodgy. There's this great couple of shots where the neighbour's dog keeps going at him, and he's having a pop at it. It looks like this big old monster, so he ends up shoving it into the mailbox. Very graphic thing like that. But it turns out that he's not as crazy as what he believes. And he starts to bring that out for himself in this book. He starts to say, what if it's not me? What if it's everything else? Blah, blah, blah. Somebody comes to town and they start speaking to him. A mysterious, devilish, creature-y guy. And he certain events unfold, and he he tells Johnny, basically, you know, this is all a lie, it's a facade, this isn't really true, these aren't your kids, this isn't your wife, this isn't your town, that's not your, you know, where you work, it's all messed up. And at the same time, we also get the FBI headquarters and Shield have been dissolved and whatnot, and they have like their own supernatural department led by this lady down here, and she's basically on her way to go hunt monsters, and they're saying the monster increases, supernatural increases on the rise, stuff's going wrong and whatnot's happening. Here's our little devilly creature coming into play. He actually entices a boy to absolutely go nuts and cave in another lad with a bat. I mean, the other lad may have deserved it, but that's fairly brutal. We get a nice little shot of the laddo walking down the town, basically waiting for something to kick off, saying it's a matter of time. We see a lot of these imageries. Johnny's sort of looking like that, and he's like, "What the fuck? You know, can you not see? Like, can you not see the painting?" And the doctor's like, no, what are you on about? And we start getting to this really, really creepy, weird bit where she's asking Johnny about his sex life, and she's like, oh, how often do you fuck? What positions do you prefer in that? And then she ends up turning into this big monstrous thing down here. And he's like, what the fuck? Get away with me. Get away from me. And we start seeing everything for how it truly is, because that's how it truly is. This is totally a spoiler review, isn't it? But it's when he gets home and he has a bit of a drink and a bit of an argy-bargy with his missus. This guy named Zeb, his name's Zeb, knocks on the door, and he exposes the facade that's going on before Johnny. And a few things happen to him. There's a bit of a bust-up between him and Johnny, but he eventually tells Johnny the truth. But there's, obviously, the Ghost Rider hasn't appeared for ages or come out for ages, kept him at bay. And something happens to that Zeb guy. Again, I'm going to try not to spoil this bit. And he asks Johnny to, take his hand and he'll show him the truth. But I will tell you, the Ghost Rider does come out, and all this mental, crazy montage facade sort of comes out, and we get to end it with the Ghost Rider ready to go absolutely nuts and berserking, and there is the cover for the next issue. So it's a really, really cool supernatural story. Like I said, all about, we have Johnny, he's come out this crash, he's seen a shrink, he doesn't know what's what, he doesn't know up from down, left from right, he's not sure what's real, but he's got his family and his job and his shrink, and he's going along with it all, but he does think it's all sort of relatively normal, but then a few things start to sway him and turn his head a little bit. He's like, no, wait, what if I'm the one that's normal and you're all crazy? And his missus is like, no, what are you on about? And then we start to see these visions and these visuals, I should say, of all the different creatures and monsters and what are surrounding this town, trying to keep the Ghost Rider hidden inside Johnny and keep Johnny where he is. But then obviously the Ghost Rider eventually is let out, and absolute complete hell is going to break loose. And then I cannot wait for issue 2 for even more hell to break loose. The thing I absolutely adored, I felt the build-up going through the book myself. I felt the build-up of the Ghost Rider himself eventually coming out and going nuts with his chains. I felt everything, and I really felt for Johnny as well, because I thought, oh, this is quite cool. He's got himself a missus and, the kids. He's having a happy little life. He's away from bikes. I wonder what's going to happen and provoke him. I love the things of, obviously, until we find out that it's actually real, but him seeing these different things, like seeing the dog that he ended up stuffing into the mailbox is like a monster, just thinking, Jesus Christ, he's having these weird things. That's obviously the Ghost Rider doing stuff to him. It turns out he was actually seeing the truth. I like them little visuals and these little images we get to pick up on. And the shrink sort of like, as you're reading it, she's talking normal, she starts talking a bit more grittier and deeper and nitty and talking about sex life and being like, seeming to be like turned on by it. And it's like, what the fuck, you weren't like this 2 seconds ago. And then she turns into this big, weird, ugly little monster, and then that all absolutely implodes and goes nuts. I thought it was a really fun read, and I bought into the mystery of Johnny's life. I bought into, is this all true? Is he crazy? Is he not crazy? What's going on? Is he going to go absolutely nuts? Is the Ghost Rider going to come out? When's he going to get on a bike again? It was so much fun. And even though I love reading all sorts of kind of comics, there's a couple of Batman things I'm reading at the minute that I'm so into. But this Ghost Rider was such a great, fantastic read, and I cannot wait for issue 2. I can't wait to see how this all unfolds. I can't wait to see where we go forward from here as well. But visuals, that was my review of Ghost Rider issue 1. And hopefully you enjoyed the review. Hopefully I do alright in these comic reviews. I say that a lot at the end of these, and hopefully you do want them. I am quite tempted to bring Superhero Wednesday back but maybe not on a Wednesday, maybe just comic book. I don't know what we'd call it, because obviously Wednesday's new comic book day, and we would just do a roundup of all the issues we've got, you know, because obviously if I'm reviewing certain books and whatnot, we can tell you how my collection's growing, as well as maybe your collection at the same time, or maybe you're just fascinated to see what I'm reading, I don't know. But visuals, hopefully you did enjoy, and you can let me know any sort of feedback in the comments below, because it would be greatly appreciated. But visuals, thank you so much for watching. You guys are literally the fucking best. We'll just keep being you, and keep on, keep it out.